normally at lambing time it's a great time of excitement and joy, bringing new life and birth into the world, but this year I totally lost all that. I think it's one of the most traumatic and difficult things I've had to face in 30 years of keeping sheep.
The full lambing season is almost underway at a farm near Leicester. Another 2,000 ewes should soon give birth to 3,000 young sheep.
We've got one flock due to begin on the 10th of March.
This year, though, farmers up and down the country are nervous. In the early season in December, Charles Sercombe lost 80 lambs to a new disease carried and spread by common midges.
In our early lambing flock, we immediately noticed severe deformations in the lambs when the first one or two were being born. And it turned out that we had, in fact, Schmallenberg in there, and it ended up with us losing 40% of the lambs in that early flock.
So what does that mean to you as a farm?
As a farm, it obviously will have an impact. We'll have less lambs to sell. I'm estimated somewhere around £12,000 to £15,000 financially we were worse off due to Schmallenberg this year on that one flock alone.
Nobody really knows how and why the Schmallenberg virus has taken hold so quickly. Named after the German village where it was first detected, the disease is barely noticeable in adult animals. It was only when infected sheep and cows gave birth that farmers immediately realised something was wrong. Most of the lambs were stillborn. The ones still breathing had serious abnormalities: fused bones, bent limbs, missing organs. All had to be put down. The virus itself poses no health risk to humans. In adult cows, it can lead to a drop in milk production, although the animals usually recover quickly. The real problem seems to be in unborn lambs and calves. From the first European cases near the German-Dutch border in 2011, the virus spread quickly and efficiently in the last year. It's thought to move at around 20 miles a day as new waves of midges bite more livestock. In England and Wales, the total number of infected farms has jumped from 276 last summer to more than 1,200. The real figure could be much higher, as there is currently no legal requirement to report cases. Schmallenberg comes just a few years after another outbreak spread by insects, blue tongue. With diseases like this, if there is no risk to human health and no culling takes place, there is no compensation. The costs are paid entirely by the farmer.
This type of virus is spread much quicker. It's a much more sort of explosive epidemic, partly probably because the midges carry it more easily and more of the midges are infected. The best guess for where the virus originally came from is probably Central or North Africa. That's probably where blue tongue came from too, and it's probably coming through with shipments of agricultural goods, flowers, fruit, that kind of thing.
At Nottingham University, researchers are now working with a live culture of the virus. Government vets estimate that up to 6% of lambs will die of the disease in an infected flock, but that's an average. On some farms, mortality rates appear to be much, much higher than that.
Well, this is one of the controversial things at the moment. Some of the farms we've got data for are saying they've got sort of 30% or more losses. The farms right next door might only have, say, less than 6%. So we know it's spread through the whole region, but what's happening on each individual farm depends on when the midges bit the animals, and it really varies very much from farm to farm, which makes it really hard to give an overall figure.
The hope now is that the virus will mainly hit those very first lambs born in the early season, and the main flocks will escape the worst of the outbreak. The government's chief vet said that should be the case, buying the industry some time until a vaccine can be developed. The most important thing for some farmers now is to get a vaccine for the virus, licensed and available for use. Unless it's approved and given to these ewes in the next 2 months, they won't be protected when those midges come back this summer. The bigger question, though, is why a number of new animal diseases seem to be appearing now. Some think subtle changes in climate could be pushing midges and other biting insects further north. Others say it could be partly down to the fast movement of livestock across borders.
I think it is something that we will have to get used to. Unfortunately, as the world becomes smaller, we come to a more globalised industry. The threat of climate change and a warmer climate through the rest of Europe means that exotic diseases are much more likely to cross these shores as we move forward.
For the moment then, many British farmers will be left hoping early worries about the disease are misplaced, hoping a vaccine can be developed and approved quickly, and hoping the sudden rise of this virus is not a sign of things to come.